The sterile scent of antiseptic filled Maya Bennett's lungs as she stepped into the elevator of Manhattan's most exclusive private medical hospital. Her dark waves were pulled into a sleek ponytail, and she smoothed down her burgundy scrubs one final time. This was the opportunity she'd been waiting for, her first high-profile client since moving to New York. Though from what his mother had mentioned during their phone consultation, Han Saiwoo wasn't exactly thrilled about her arrival. The elevator doors slid open to reveal a corridor that bore little resemblance to any hospital Maya had seen. No bustle of nurses, no patients shuffling past. Just an eerie quiet punctuated by the occasional hushed footstep of staff who moved with military precision. Her keycard beeped against the scanner. Beyond the door stood a tall figure in an impeccably tailored black suit. His expression carefully neutral, though his eyes tracked her every movement with predatory focus. "Miss Bennett." His accent was slight but noticeable. "That's me." Maya shifted her therapy bag higher on her shoulder. "I'm Daehoon. I oversee Mr. Han's security detail." He paused, something unreadable crossing his features. "I should warn you, he didn't ask for you to be here." Maya met his gaze steadily. "His mother mentioned he might be resistant. I've worked with difficult patients before." The corner of Daehoon's mouth twitched, almost a smile. "With respect, Miss Bennett, you haven't encountered anyone quite like him." Before Maya could respond, a door at the corridor's end opened. A younger man emerged, handsome with an easy smile that somehow failed to reach his eyes. "You must be the specialist my mother hired." He extended his hand. "I'm Han Junho, the reasonable brother." Fair warning, Sai was in one of his moods. Though honestly, when isn't he? Maya shook his hand firmly. "I appreciate the heads up, but moods don't intimidate me." "They should," Junho said quietly, but stepped aside. The room beyond was shrouded in shadows. Heavy drapes blocked the afternoon sun, allowing only slivers of cityscape to penetrate the gloom. A man stood at the window, hands clasped behind his back, posture rigid with barely contained tension. He didn't turn. "Mr. Han." Maya kept her voice professional yet warm. "I'm Maya Bennett. Your mother hired me to. I'm aware why you're here." His voice was deep, controlled, cold as winter rain. "And I'm telling you to leave. I flew 3,000 miles to help you. The least you can do is look at me when you're dismissing me." Before he turns, before Maya realizes who she's standing in front of. If you're drawn to slow-burn tension, dangerous chemistry, and stories where one encounter changes everything, hit that subscribe now and turn on your notification bell. I'd bet you don't want to miss what happens next. The silence stretched until Maya wondered if she'd miscalculated. Then, with deliberate slowness, he turned. Maya's breath caught. He was tall, easily over 6 feet, with broad shoulders that filled out his black sweater with devastating effect. His face was all sharp angles and severe beauty, the kind that would make strangers stop and stare. Dark hair fell slightly into eyes that were currently fixed on her with an intensity that made her pulse stutter. But it wasn't his looks that gave her pause. It was the emptiness in those eyes, the carefully constructed wall that screamed of someone who'd surrendered something fundamental. "You've looked. Now leave." He turned back to the window. "No." Maya set down her bag with a decisive thump. "I don't care if you're wealthy, powerful, or accustomed to people obeying your every command. I'm here because this is my profession, and I was paid to ensure I deliver excellent results. Your nerve damage doesn't have to define your future. But if you're comfortable with it, that makes my job simple. I'll just leave." Her tone sent a shockwave through Saiwoo. No woman had dared speak to him this way. But Maya wasn't intimidated. She continued, flipping through pages of her leather journal with a slight smirk as she scanned each entry. "Stop acting like you understand everything, young lady. You know nothing about my body." His voice trembled just slightly. Maya didn't look at his face. She just continued reading through her notes. I know you've had 3 surgeries and consulted 12 different specialists. Then she lifted her gaze. I know you're standing in darkness because you've convinced yourself you're damaged beyond repair. Maya moved closer, just enough to invade his space. Well, Mr. Han, I'm here to tell you directly you're wrong. Han Saiwoo turned again, and this time she saw something flicker behind the icy facade. Anger, perhaps, or curiosity. I want to see for myself. 1 session. Maya held up a finger. Give me 60 minutes. If nothing changes, if you don't feel even the slightest difference, I'll leave and never contact you again. But if there's even a small possibility that you respond to my methods. She paused, her gaze dropping briefly to his waistline. Then you owe me an apology. He studied her for what felt like an eternity. Maya forced herself to hold his gaze, refusing to look away from the intensity burning there. Fine. He moved past her toward a door on the room's far side. 1 session. Then you're gone. The therapy room was better illuminated, equipped with professional equipment that must have cost a small fortune. Maya began setting up while Saiwoo stood against the wall, watching her with that same unnerving focus. I need you on the table, she said, pulling out her massage oils and nerve stimulation instruments. I don't take orders. His response dripped with arrogance. In this room you do, unless you'd prefer to remain in your current condition. The word hung between them like a challenge. His jaw tightened. This would be his final attempt, just for his mother's sake. Afterward, no more. He moved to the table, carelessly unbuttoning his shirt to reveal well-defined abs and toned muscle decorated authentically with the Han family crest tattooed across his ribs, before lying down with visible reluctance. Maya's jaw wanted to drop, though she maintained her professional composure despite the way her hands threatened to shake. Something about him set her nerves on edge. Not fear exactly, but awareness. The kind that made her hyper-conscious of every breath, every movement. I'm going to start with your lower back. The nerves controlling sensation originate from your lumbar spine. She warmed the oil between her palms. This might be uncomfortable initially, but I need you to try to relax. I don't relax. Then today's full of firsts. Maya placed her hands on his lower back. His entire body went rigid beneath her touch. The muscles under her fingers were dense, locked tight with years of accumulated tension. Maya worked slowly, carefully, finding knots and pressure points. She treated hundreds of patients, but touching him felt different, more intimate than it should. You're barely breathing, she murmured. Tension worsens nerve response. It's difficult to relax when a stranger has their hands on you. I'm not a stranger. I'm your therapist. Maya pressed deeper into a particularly tight spot along his spine. When's the last time anyone touched you? And I don't mean doctors examining you. I mean really touched you. The silence was answer enough. They continued in quiet, broken only by the soft sounds of her movements and his carefully controlled breathing. Maya lost herself in the work, in the familiar rhythm of finding tension and releasing it. But she couldn't ignore the warmth spreading through her palms, the way his body slowly, grudgingly began to respond to her touch. By the time an hour passed, something had shifted. Saiwoo sat up abruptly, and Maya saw the flicker across his face. What is it? Her brows furrowed. Did I hurt you somewhere? Saiwoo gave no response for several seconds. Then he finally answered. I think we should conclude today's session. Conclude? But I'm not finished. We still have a couple of minutes before. I said we're done. He barked. All right. Maya held up her hands in submission, then went to pack her massage tools into her bag when he suddenly broke the silence. I felt something just now. He flexed his hands like he was testing them. That hasn't happened in 5 years. He paused. And I'm sorry for yelling. The apology caused Maya to turn back. Did I just hear you apologize? Flushed and embarrassed, Saiwoo brushed his fingers through his hair. Well, I made a deal. Maya smiled, turning back to her bag. It's a start. She cleaned her hands, trying to ignore the way her heart was racing. Same time tomorrow? What if nothing else changes? Saiwoo responded almost immediately, like he was afraid to lose this sensation again. She looked at him directly. What if everything does? That's what you're really afraid of, isn't it? He didn't answer, but the look in his eyes told her she'd hit the mark. See you tomorrow, Mr. Han. She winked at him, took one last long look as if photographing his features in her mind before heading to the door. Maya left the facility feeling oddly shaken. She'd treated powerful men before, celebrities, executives. Everything had remained professional. No spark, no complicated feelings. But Han Saiwoo was different. Dangerous in a way that had nothing to do with his reputation and everything to do with the way he looked at her and how her ethical boundaries melted under his stare. Her apartment in Brooklyn was small but comfortable, a sublet from another therapist who'd returned to California. Maya dropped her bag by the door and collapsed onto the couch, pulling out her phone to call her best friend back in Seattle. Hey Maya, so tell me, how did it go? Vanessa's voice came through bright and curious. How was the mysterious client? Maya exhaled deeply. Complicated. She closed her eyes. He's got severe nerve damage from an accident 5 years ago. Complete loss of sensation and function in certain areas, private areas too. But Vanessa, his mother said he's given up. Like completely. I trust you were able to work your magic with those soft hands of yours. Vanessa teased. Stop with the teasing, Ness. I'm just doing my job. Maya smiled despite her exhaustion. But there was this moment today when he felt something change. Like his body remembering what it used to do. It was incredible. Okay, and what's he like? Is he nice? Mean? Gorgeous? Come on. Give me the full gist. Maya's smile and soft chuckle lasted too long. Oh my God. He's gorgeous. Vanessa crowed. I can hear it in your voice. Stop, Ness. He's my client. His looks don't matter. But he is gorgeous, isn't he? Vanessa pressed. Devastatingly, Maya groaned. But also cold and closed off and clearly dealing with some serious issues beyond the physical. I'm here to do a job, not develop some stupid crush feelings. Too late. You already have one. Vanessa burst into laughter. I do not. You used the word devastatingly. You're gone, girl. They talked for another 20 minutes before Maya finally hung up. She knew Vanessa wasn't totally wrong, but she tried to brush it off. She was a professional. She'd worked with attractive clients before without any issues. This would be no different. She closed her eyes, reminding herself of the truth that was about to become a lie. That night, Maya couldn't stop thinking about the way Saiwoo's body had felt under her hands. The heat of his skin, the tension slowly melting away, the vulnerability of him trusting her enough to lie there and let her work. She fell asleep that night with his face in her mind, those dark eyes watching her like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. The next morning, Maya arrived at the hospital promptly at 8. Daehoon met her in the lobby this time, his expression slightly less forbidding than yesterday. He's already in the therapy room, he said as they rode the elevator up. That's new. Usually we have to persuade him to show up. Progress, Maya murmured. Saiwoo was indeed waiting. Dressed in black athletic wear that showcased his physique in ways her professional brain tried very hard to ignore. He stood by the window again, but this time he turned when she entered. You came back. I said I would. Maya set down her bag. How did you feel afterward? Different. He moved toward the table without being asked. Not necessarily better, but different. Different is good. It means your body is responding. She began setting up. Today we're going to work on your hip flexors and lower abdominals. The nerve pathways there connect to everything else. Something flickered in his eyes. Awareness, perhaps, or concern. That's more invasive. I'm a professional, Mr. Han. I've done this hundreds of times. Maya kept her voice steady despite the flutter in her stomach. But if you're uncomfortable, we can modify the approach. I'm not uncomfortable. He lay down, but she saw his hands fist at his sides. Do what you need to do. Maya warmed fresh oil, then placed her hands just above his hip bone. His stomach muscles contracted immediately under her touch. Breathe, she instructed softly. I know this feels vulnerable, but tension defeats the purpose. Everything about this feels vulnerable. That's because it is. Her hands moved in slow circles, working the tight muscles. Healing requires vulnerability. That's the scary part nobody talks about. They fell into silence, but it was different from yesterday, charged somehow. Maya was acutely aware of every point of contact between her hands and his body, every breath he took, every tiny shift in his position. Why did you become a physical therapist? His voice startled her. My father had a stroke when I was younger. The therapist who worked with him was amazing, patient and kind. She helped him walk again when everyone else said it was impossible. Maya's hands continued their work. I wanted to be that person for someone else. Noble, he commented. Practical, she countered. I like fixing things. Am I a thing to fix? She met his eyes. You're a person who deserves to feel whole. That's different. Something passed between them in that look. Something that made Maya's hands falter for just a second before she forced herself back to professionalism. By the end of the session, Saiwoo was sitting up, looking at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Tomorrow? He asked. This time Maya smiled. Yeah. See you tomorrow. It became their routine. Every morning at 8, Maya arrived at the hospital and worked with Saiwoo for an hour. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they worked in comfortable silence. But every day she felt him opening up a little more, the walls coming down brick by careful brick. On the 4th day, he told her about the accident. A car crash on a rainy night 5 years ago. My driver died instantly. His voice was flat as he stared at the ceiling while she worked on his shoulders. I survived, but with injuries that went beyond broken bones. The doctors said I was lucky, he continued quietly. Lucky to be alive. Lucky to walk again. But it didn't feel lucky when I realized what I'd lost. He paused. Everything that made me feel like a man. The ability to feel pleasure, to connect with someone physically, to have a future that included normal things like marriage and children. Maya's hands stilled for a moment. Your body is healing, Saiwoo. I'm sure you can feel it responding. The nerve damage isn't permanent. You don't know that. I do. I've seen cases like yours before. With the right treatment, with time and patience, function can be restored. She resumed her work, focusing on a particularly tight knot. But you have to believe it's possible. Your mind is as much a part of healing as your body. Easy to say when it's not your body. You're right, but giving up is easier. And you've been doing that for 5 years. She pressed harder, making him wince. Time to stop. On the 6th day, Junho showed up halfway through the session, knocking briefly before entering. His eyes went wide when he saw Maya's hands on his brother's lower back. The intimate nature of the work. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Mother wants to know if you're joining us for dinner tonight. He looked between them with obvious curiosity. Both of you. Saiwoo's eyes found Maya's. That's not necessary. I'd love to, Maya said before she could second-guess herself. If it's not an imposition. It's not, Junho said quickly. 7 o'clock at the family estate. I'll send a car for you. After he left, Saiwoo sat up slowly. You don't have to go. My mother can be intense. I want to go. I'd like to meet the woman who hired me. Maya began cleaning up her equipment. Unless you don't want me there? It's not that. It's just, once you step beyond these sessions, things might get complicated. I can handle complicated. Her voice dropped to a soft whisper. Can you? He stood, moving closer, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his body. My family isn't like normal families, Maya. We have expectations, traditions, people who watch everything we do. I grew up in a military family. I understand expectations and being watched. She held her ground even as her heart raced. Are you afraid they might think you're involved with me? No. The word came out fierce. Never that. I just don't want you to feel pressured into something you're not ready for. Let me decide what I'm ready for. She met his eyes. I'll see you at 7. One more thing, Maya. His voice halted her by the door. I don't do love, so be careful. Maya's heart sank, but she didn't dare flinch. Noted, Mr. Han, she said before shutting the door behind her. The Han family estate was in upstate New York, behind high walls and heavy security. Maya wore a simple black dress and had left her hair natural, waves framing her face. The car dropped her at the main entrance where Junho was waiting. You look great, he said with an approving smile. Fair warning, Mother invited some extended family. She wants to show you off. Show me off. Her eyes widened. She's proud of the progress Sai was making, and curious about the woman who managed to get him to actually try again. Junho led her through beautiful gardens toward the main house. Be prepared. My family can be intensely inquisitive, especially if you don't understand our world. What world is that exactly? Junho paused at the entrance. You really don't know, do you? About what my family does. Your mother said you're in business. Import, export, real estate. Among other things. His expression turned serious. Look, I like you. You're good for my brother. But you should know what you're walking into before you get too deep. Before Maya could ask what he meant, the door opened. A woman in her 50s stood there, elegant in a designer dress, her hair perfectly styled. She had Saiwa's eyes sharp and assessing. Miss Bennett. Mrs. Han. Please come in. Her English was flawless, accent barely detectable. My son speaks highly of your work. Thank you for inviting me, Mrs. Han. Call me Myri. We're not formal here. She led Maya into a beautiful sitting room where several people were gathered. Everyone, this is Maya Bennett, Saiwa's therapist. Saiwa stood near the window, dressed in a black suit that made him look breathtakingly handsome. His eyes found hers immediately, and something in his expression softened. Maya was introduced to aunts, uncles, cousins, all polite but clearly curious. They asked about her background, her training, her family. She answered honestly, aware of being evaluated with every word. Dinner was served in a formal dining room. Maya found herself seated between Saiwoo and Myri, with Junho across from them. The meal was elaborate, course after course of beautifully prepared dishes. So, Miss Bennett, an older man Maya had been introduced to as Uncle Hyunwoo, said, what do you think of our Saiwoo? I think he's a dedicated patient who's making excellent progress. Maya kept her voice professional. Just a patient? Hyunwoo's smile was knowing. My nephew is a very eligible bachelor. Many families have expressed interest in marriage arrangements. Uncle. Saiwa's voice held a warning. I'm simply saying the young woman should know what she's getting into if she has designs on you. I have no designs, Maya said firmly. I'm his therapist. That's all. Her throat tightened from the awkward silence that befell the room. She felt Saiwoo's sudden stare. Myri smoothly changed the subject, asking Maya about her stay in California and her family. The rest of dinner passed pleasantly, though Maya remained aware of the undercurrents. The way certain relatives watched her, the careful way people phrased questions about Saiwoo's recovery. After dinner, Saiwoo pulled her aside. Let me show you the gardens. They're beautiful at night. They walked in silence for a while, the sounds of the party fading behind them. Finally, in a secluded corner surrounded by flowering trees, Saiwoo stopped. I'm sorry about my uncle. He's old-fashioned and thinks everything should be a business transaction. It's fine. I've dealt with worse. Maya turned to face him. But what did he mean about marriage arrangements? People don't really arrange marriages anymore, do they? Welcome to this part of the world where they still do. Saiwoo smiled. Marriages are about power, territory, connections. His hand brushed hers as they strolled. Sorry, they both said at the same time before smiling awkwardly. My mother has been fielding proposals since I was 20. And have you accepted any? No. I've never wanted to marry someone I don't love. He stopped, facing her now. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. Until recently, I didn't think I'd ever want to marry at all. Maya's breath caught. What changed? You changed everything. He leaned closer. Tell me I'm not alone in feeling this. Tell me you feel it too. Maya collapsed under his touch. At that point, professional boundaries and ethics were thrown out the window. Though she struggled with the thought that this was a terrible idea, looking into his eyes, seeing the vulnerability there, she couldn't lie. I feel it. I've been feeling it since that first day. Her hand covered his where it rested against her cheek. But Saiwoo, we can't act on it. I'm your therapist. There are rules, standards of practice. Then I'll find another therapist. You're making progress with me. Changing now could set you back months. I don't care. He moved closer until they were breathing the same air. I'd rather take longer to heal than lose the chance to be with you. You don't know what you're saying. This feeling, it might just be gratitude or transference. Patients often develop feelings for their therapists during treatment. It's normal and it passes. This won't pass. His other hand found her waist. I've had dozens of therapists over 5 years. I never felt anything for any of them. But you, from the moment you walked in and refused to be intimidated, I felt something wake up inside me. Saiwoo. His lips crashed into hers. She should have resisted, but like Vanessa had said, she was already gone from the first day she met him. Maya responded by pressing her hands into his jacket. The kiss deepened, grew more urgent. 3 weeks of tension, of careful professionalism, of denying what they both felt, poured into that kiss. When they finally broke apart, they both chuckled in embarrassment. But Saiwoo never took his eyes off her. Maya's cheeks turned light pink from blushing before she rested her forehead against his chest. This is a terrible idea, she muttered between smiles. The best ones usually are. His arms came around her. What do we do now? I don't know. She pulled back to look at him. I need to think. We both need to think about what this means, what we're willing to risk. I already know what I'm willing to risk. Everything, he said. That's easy to say in the heat of the moment. But we're talking about my career, your treatment, both of our reputations. Maya stepped out of his arms, immediately missing the warmth. Give me a few days. Let me figure out if there's a way to do this that doesn't compromise either of us. And if there isn't, then we decide what matters more. She touched his face gently. I should go. Your family will notice if we're gone too long. He walked her back to the main house where Junho was waiting with a knowing smile. The car ride home gave Maya time to think, but her mind kept returning to the feel of Saiwoo's mouth on hers, the way he'd held her like she was precious. She was in so much trouble. That night, Maya researched therapist-patient relationships, professional boundaries, ethical guidelines. Everything pointed to the same conclusion. She needed to transfer his care to another therapist before pursuing any kind of personal relationship. But finding someone who could work with Saiwoo, who she'd trust enough, who understood the complexity of his case, that wouldn't be easy, and it could set his progress back significantly. She was still wrestling with the problem the next morning when her phone rang. Trevor Walsh's name flashed on the screen. Maya, hey, I'm actually in New York for another week. Want to grab coffee? She almost said no, then realized maybe distance was exactly what she needed. Perspective from someone outside the situation. Sure, there's a cafe in Brooklyn I've been meaning to try. They met that afternoon. Trevor looked the same as always, easy smile, casual confidence. They ordered Americanos and settled at a corner table. So how's the mysterious client? Trevor asked. Still mysterious? Very. Maya wrapped her hands around her cup. Actually, I could use some advice. She gave him the basics, leaving out names and identifying details. A patient she was developing feelings for, the ethical complications, the question of whether to continue treatment or transfer his care. Trevor listened carefully, his expression thoughtful. Here's my take, you're too close to the situation to be objective anymore. Feelings, whether reciprocated or not, compromise your ability to provide impartial care. So I should transfer him? Professionally, yes. Personally, I think you need to ask yourself what you really want. Trevor leaned forward. Is this guy worth potentially derailing your career? Because once you cross that line, even if you transfer his care first, people will talk. It could affect your reputation, your ability to get future clients. I know, but I also see how you light up when you talk about him, even anonymously. Trevor smiled. I've known you for 5 years, Maya. I've never seen you like this about anyone. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Honestly, I don't know. But I think you've already made your decision. You just need to admit it to yourself. They talked for another hour, and Maya felt some clarity emerging. She couldn't keep treating Saiwoo while having feelings for him. That was non-negotiable. But she could transfer his care, maintain professional distance, and then see what developed. They both made jokes and smiled while she sipped her drink. But the moment she lifted her head, her heart stopped like she'd seen a ghost. Saiwoo stood 10 feet away, dressed in a black suit. His hair was styled back from his face, and he looked every inch the powerful, dangerous man people whispered about. But his eyes were fixed on her with an intensity that made her skin heat. Saiwoo. She stood automatically. I didn't expect to see you here. Well, I own the building. His gaze cut to Trevor, cold and assessing. I see you're having a nice time. Trevor Walsh. We went to grad school together. She gestured between them, trying to ignore the sudden tension. Trevor. This is Han Saiwoo, one of my clients. Trevor extended his hand with friendly ignorance. Nice to meet you, man. Maya told me about her work here. Sounds fascinating. Saiwoo shook his hand, but Maya saw the deliberate pressure in his grip, the subtle flex of dominance. Has she? His brow quirked. I wasn't aware my treatment was dinner conversation. It's not, Maya said quickly. I never discuss client details. Trevor just knows I'm working with someone. Someone important, apparently. Trevor grinned, oblivious to the danger crackling in the air. We've been trying to sync schedules for months. Finally got her to sit still long enough to catch up. How fortunate. Saiwoo's jaw was tight. Enjoy your evening. He turned and walked away before Maya could say anything else. She watched him cross the cafe, every woman's head turning as he passed, and felt something twist in her chest. That was jealousy she'd seen in his eyes, raw and barely controlled. Trevor was talking, saying something about life after school, but Maya barely heard him. Her mind was racing, trying to process what had just happened. After the hangout with Trevor, she was walking back to her apartment when someone stepped out of an alley. A young Korean man, probably early 20s, with hard eyes and aggressive posture. "You're the woman treating Han Saiwoo." Maya's heart kicked. "Excuse me, I don't owe you a response. If you don't mind, please let me pass." She tried to walk past, but he blocked her path. "He's made himself weak letting a woman like you touch him. Some people think that's a problem." "I don't know what you're talking about. You should go back to wherever you came from before something bad happens." His smile was nasty. New York can be dangerous for outsiders who don't know their place. Fear spiked through her, but Maya kept her voice steady. "Are you threatening me?" "Just offering advice." He stepped back, hands raised in mock innocence. "Think about it." He disappeared into the crowd before Maya could respond. She stood there, hands shaking, trying to process what had just happened. Someone had just threatened her. Because of Saiwoo. Because of whatever world he was part of. She got home, locked the doors, and closed the window blinds just in case someone was watching. Then she pulled out her phone with trembling fingers and called him. Luckily, he picked up on the first ring. "I don't think our session is until next week. Or were you wanting to call your companion to let him know you got home safe?" His tone dripped with jealousy. "Saiwoo, can we not do this right now? I told you Trevor is just a friend from school. But that's not why I'm calling. Someone threatened me while I was walking home. He said I should leave while I can." "What is going on?" Maya's voice shook. "What?" She heard the sharp concern in his voice. "Where are you?" "I'm at home now in Brooklyn." "Good. Stay on the phone. I'm sending Daehoon to get you. Don't go anywhere alone." "I'm sorry this is happening," he said, his voice strained. "I'll explain everything when you get here. Just stay safe until then." Daehoon arrived in a black SUV, his expression grim. He ushered her into the back seat and they drove through New York in tense silence. They didn't go to the hospital or the Han family estate. Instead, they pulled into an underground garage beneath a gleaming high-rise. "Where are we?" "Mr. Han's private residence. You'll be safe here." Daehoon led her to a private elevator. "He's waiting upstairs." The elevator opened directly into a penthouse that took Maya's breath away. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered panoramic views of the city. The decor was minimalist and expensive, all clean lines and dark colors. Saiwoo stood at those windows, hands in his pockets, tension visible in every line of his body. He turned when the elevator opened. "Saiwoo, what is going on?" She hurried over to him. "Tell me exactly what happened." Every word he said, every detail you remember. Maya recounted the encounter, watching his expression grow colder with each sentence. When she finished, he pulled out his phone and made a call. "I need to know who's been asking questions about her. Check with our contacts in Brooklyn." He paused, listening. "I don't care what it costs. I want a name by tonight." He hung up and finally looked at her. Really looked at her. "Are you hurt?" "No, just shaken." Maya wrapped her arms around herself. "Saiwoo, what's happening? Why would someone threaten me over treating you?" He moved to the bar, poured whiskey with hands that shook slightly. "Because of what I am. What my family does." "Which is what exactly? And don't give me vague answers about business interests." Saiwoo downed the whiskey, poured another. My family controls significant operations in New York's underground economy. We're not the Mafia exactly, but we're not entirely legitimate either. We broker deals between various factions, provide security and enforcement, move product that others can't. Product? Pharmaceuticals mostly. Expensive medical supplies that come in through private channels. He met her eyes. We also own half the nightclubs in Manhattan, several hotels, construction companies. The legitimate businesses fund the rest. Maya sank onto the couch. You're a crime boss. I prefer businessman with flexible ethics. His smile was bitter. But yes, essentially. And the threat? Probably from a rival faction. Or maybe someone who thinks my involvement with you makes me vulnerable. He sat beside her, not touching. In my world, caring about anything is seen as weakness. People look for leverage, for ways to manipulate or control. So by treating you, by getting close to you, I've become a target. Yes. Saiwa's jaw tightened. I should have seen this coming. Should have kept my distance. Maya's mind raced. This explained so much, the security, the careful questions from his family, the wealth and power that seemed to emanate from him. I should go back to Seattle, she said quietly. That would be the smart thing, the safe thing. Probably. He still wasn't looking at her. But I don't want you to go. I know that's selfish. I know I should let you leave, let you be safe. But the thought of you getting on a plane, of never seeing you again, it makes me want to destroy things. Saiwu. I'm in love with you, Maya. The words came out raw. Honest. I've been falling since that first day. Every session, every conversation, every moment you touch me, I fall deeper. Her heart hammered. You don't know that. It could be transference, gratitude, proximity. It's not. I've spent 3 years being touched by dozens of therapists and doctors. I never felt anything for any of them. He took her hand. But you make me feel alive again. You make me want to be better than I am. I can't keep treating you if we have feelings for each other. I know. So I'm firing you as my therapist. His thumb traced circles on her palm. Effective immediately. Your treatment isn't complete. Then I'll find someone else. Junho can coordinate it. His eyes searched hers. But I need to know if there's a chance. If you feel even a fraction of what I feel, tell me now. Maya thought about all the reasons she should say no. The danger, the complications, the fact that she barely knew this world he occupied. Then she thought about the way he looked at her. The careful gentleness of his touch, the vulnerability he showed only to her. I feel it too, she whispered. I've been trying not to, trying to maintain boundaries, but I feel it. He pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. Then stay. Stay with me and let me keep you safe. Safe from what exactly? From whoever's threatening you. From rival factions who might see you as leverage. From anyone who thinks they can use you to get to me. He pulled back enough to look at her. I won't lie. Being with me means danger. But I swear I'll protect you with everything I have. This is insane. I barely know you outside of therapy sessions. Then let's change that. Stay here tonight. Tomorrow. For however long it takes to figure out who's behind the threat. His hand cupped her face. Get to know me. The real me, not just the patient. Maya knew she should refuse, should insist on going home, on putting distance between them until she could think clearly. But the thought of leaving, of facing potential danger alone, made her throat tight. Okay, I'll stay. But just until we figure out what's going on. Thank you. He kissed her forehead. There's a guest room through there. I'll have Daehoon bring some of your things from your apartment. Saiwoo. About what you said. About loving me. I meant it. Every word. His hand cupped her face. You don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. But Maya was starting to suspect she did love him. Was falling in love with him despite every logical reason not to. And that terrified her more than any threat. The guest room was beautiful and impersonal, clearly never used. Maya showered and changed into clothes Daehoon had retrieved from her apartment, trying to process everything that had happened in the last few hours. She'd been threatened, learned that Saiwoo was essentially a crime boss, been told he loved her, agreed to stay in his penthouse indefinitely. Her life had gone from predictable to completely insane in the space of 3 weeks. There was a knock on her door. Saiwoo stood there with a tray of food. I figured you hadn't eaten. My chef sent up some comfort food. He set the tray on her bedside table. Are you okay? Honestly, I don't know. Maya sat on the edge of the bed. This is a lot to process. I know. And I'm sorry you got dragged into my world like this. He sat beside her, careful to maintain some distance. If I'd known someone would threaten you, I never would have let things develop between us. You can't control how you feel. Maybe not. But I could have been more careful. His hands fisted on his thighs. The thought of someone hurting you because of me, it makes me feel insane. Hey! Maya touched his arm. I'm okay. Scared. But okay. He turned to look at her, and the raw emotion in his eyes made her breath catch. I need you to understand something. The people in my world, they don't make empty threats. If someone approached you today, it means they're watching, calculating, and I won't let them get close enough to hurt you. What are you going to do? Whatever it takes. The coldness in his voice sent a chill down her spine. I've already put out word that you're under my protection. Anyone who touches you answers to me personally. Is that enough? It should be. My reputation carries weight in New York. He stood, pacing to the window. But there are always those who think they're brave enough or smart enough to challenge me. Maya watched him. This man who could switch between gentle and dangerous so seamlessly. Your family knew this could happen. That's why your uncle was testing me at dinner. They wanted to see if I could handle your world, if I had the strength to stand beside someone like you. He glanced back at her. For what it's worth, my mother likes you. She said you have fire. Is that good in your world? It's essential. He returned to sit beside her. Maya, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Okay. Are you staying because you want to, or because you're afraid? She considered the question carefully. Both, if I'm being honest. I'm definitely afraid. But I also don't want to leave. Not yet. Not yet, he repeated softly. But eventually? I don't know. This is all so new. So overwhelming. She took his hand. Can we just take this one day at a time? Figure out what this is between us without the pressure of forever hanging over it. I can do that. He squeezed her hand. Though fair warning, I'm not good at casual. Once I decide I want something, I go after it completely. Noted. She smiled despite her nerves. Now feed me before this food gets cold. They ate together, the conversation gradually shifting to lighter topics. Saiwoo told her about growing up in New York's elite circles, the expectations and pressures. Maya shared stories about Seattle, her parents, her decidedly normal childhood. It sounds nice, Saiwoo said. Normal. It was. Sometimes boring, but nice. Maya set down her empty bowl. Did you ever wish for normal? Every day since the accident. Before that, I was too busy building power to think about what I was sacrificing. He leaned back against the headboard. But 3 years of being broken gives you time to think. To realize that all the power in the world doesn't mean much if you're alone. You're not alone now. No. Now I have you. He turned his head to look at her. Even if it's just for a little while. Something in his voice made Maya's chest ache. He was trying to be okay with whatever she could give, but she could see it cost him. Saiwoo, I'm not planning to leave tomorrow or even next week. Can we please stop acting like I have one foot out the door already? Sorry. Old habit. Expecting people to leave before they can be taken away. He stood. I should let you sleep. If you need anything, my room's at the end of the hall. Wait. Maya caught his hand before he could leave. Stay. Just for a little while. I don't want to be alone right now. He hesitated, then kicked off his shoes and lay down beside her on top of the covers. Maya curled against his side, her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. This okay? She asked. More than okay. His arm came around her. This is perfect. They lay like that until Maya drifted off to sleep, feeling safer than she had any right to given the circumstances. She woke alone the next morning, sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. For a moment, she couldn't remember where she was. Then it all came flooding back. Maya found Saiwoo in the kitchen cooking breakfast with surprising competence. He changed into casual clothes, jeans and a black t-shirt that showed off his physique. You cook. I have many hidden talents. He smiled, the real one that transformed his face. Coffee? Please. They ate breakfast together at the kitchen island, and it felt domestic in a way that should have been strange but somehow wasn't. Saiwoo told her about the calls he'd made that morning, reaching out to contacts, putting pressure on the right people. I should have a name by this afternoon, he said. Whoever sent that guy to threaten you is going to regret it. What will you do when you find out who it is? Make it very clear that you're off limits. He met her eyes. You don't need to know the details. Because they involve violence? Yes. No apology in his voice. I won't lie to you about who I am, Maya. I'm not a good man. I've done things, ordered things that would horrify most people. But not me. I don't know. That's what terrifies me. He set down his coffee. That one day you'll look at me and really see what I am, and you'll be horrified. Maya thought about that. About the man who'd threatened her yesterday, the casual cruelty in his voice. About Saiwoo's world where violence was currency and weakness got you killed. I think you're more than the worst things you've done, she said finally. We all are. Yes, you've hurt people. But you've also protected people, built something from nothing, survived things that would have broken others. You're very generous. I'm realistic. She reached across to take his hand. I'm not saying what you do is right, but I understand why you do it. And I think underneath all the power and control, you're just someone trying to survive in the world you were born into. His grip tightened on her hand. You make me want to be better. Then be better. Not for me. For yourself. They were interrupted by Saiwoo's phone buzzing. He glanced at it and his expression hardened. I need to take this. Don't leave the penthouse. He disappeared into his office, and Maya was left alone with her thoughts. She wandered to the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out over New York. Somewhere out there was the person who'd threatened her, the people who saw her as Saiwoo's weakness. She should be more afraid than she was. Should be on the next plane back to Seattle. But something kept her rooted here. Some combination of attraction and curiosity and the feeling that walking away now would be giving up on something important. Her phone rang. Vanessa's face appeared on the screen. Girl, you haven't called in days. What's going on? Maya gave her the abbreviated version, the developing feelings, Saiwoo's revelation about his world, the threat, moving into his penthouse. Jesus Christ, Maya. You're living in a crime drama. Vanessa's voice mixed concern and fascination. Are you safe? I think so. Saiwoo's made it clear I'm under his protection. And you believe he can protect you? Yeah, I do. Maya surprised herself with how certain she sounded. You should see him, Ness. He's terrifying when he wants to be. I almost feel sorry for whoever threatened me. Almost. They scared me. Part of me wants to see Sai-woo make them regret it. She paused. Is that terrible? It's human. Someone threatens you, you want consequences. Vanessa was quiet for a moment. But babe, you need to think long-term here. Can you really build a life with someone in that world? The danger, the violence, the moral ambiguity? I don't know. I'm trying not to think that far ahead. That's not like you. You're a planner. I know. But this thing with Sai-woo, it doesn't fit into neat plans. It's messy and complicated and probably a terrible idea. Maya leaned her forehead against the cool glass. But I can't walk away from it. Not yet. Then don't. Just be careful, okay? And keep me updated so I know you're alive. They talked for a few more minutes before hanging up. Maya felt slightly better having talked it through, having someone back home know what was happening. Sai-woo emerged from his office an hour later looking satisfied and slightly dangerous. I have a name. Park Min-sik. Low-level enforcer for the Choi family. They operate in Brooklyn, which is why he was able to approach you there. What does that mean? It means the Choi family is testing me, seeing if I'll really protect you or if it's all talk. He pulled out his phone. I'm going to meet with their boss this afternoon. Make it clear that threatening you was a mistake. Can I come with you? Absolutely not. His voice was firm. You stay here where it's safe. I'll handle this. I'm tired of being handled. Maya crossed her arms. If this is about me, I should be there. No. These meetings can turn violent quickly. I won't risk you. He moved closer, his hands settling on her shoulders. Please, Maya. Let me do this my way. The please did it. She could see how much it cost him to ask rather than order. Fine. But you come back safe. Understand. I always do. He kissed her forehead. Daehoon will be here if you need anything. Don't answer the door for anyone else. After he left, the penthouse felt too empty. Maya tried to distract herself with television, a book, anything. But her mind kept returning to Sai-woo in a room with dangerous people, negotiating her safety. She was pacing when her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Asterisk, if you care about Han Sai-woo, you'll leave New York. He's making enemies because of you. How many people have to die before you realize you're poison? Asterisk. Maya's hands shook as she forwarded the message to Sai-woo. His response came immediately. Asterisk, don't respond. Delete the number. I'm handling it. Asterisk. But the message rattled her. How many people would get hurt because of her connection to Sai-woo? Was she being selfish by staying? She was still wrestling with these questions when Junho showed up at the penthouse, letting himself in with his own key. Daehoon told me. He looked stressed. Figured you could use company. He held up a bag of snacks and soju. Korean stress relief. Despite everything, Maya smiled. Does your brother know you're here? He's the one who suggested it. Said you shouldn't be alone while he handles business. Junho settled on the couch. Plus, I wanted to check on you. Make sure you're not freaking out too badly. I'm freaking out a normal amount given the circumstances. Good. That means you're sane. He poured them both soju. Look, I know my brother's world is intense. Trust me, I grew up in it. But he's good at what he does. If he says he'll keep you safe, he will. Even if it means putting himself in danger? Especially then. Junho's expression turned serious. Sai-woo hasn't cared about anyone like this since the accident. Actually, I'm not sure he's ever cared about anyone like this. So yeah, he'll do whatever it takes to protect you. That's what worries me. What if he takes unnecessary risks because of me? Then that's his choice to make. You can't control him, Maya. Nobody can. Junho handed her a shot. All you can do is decide if he's worth the complications. If this life is something you can handle long-term. They drank, and Maya felt the soju burn down her throat. I don't know if I can handle it. I'm a physical therapist from Seattle. I've never dealt with anything like this. Nobody's equipped for this life until they're in it. Even my mother, who grew up in a similar world, said it took her years to adjust. He poured another round. But you seem tougher than you look. You stood up to Saiwoo when most people cower. That counts for something. Or it means I'm too stupid to be properly afraid. Fear and courage aren't opposites. Being scared but staying anyway, that's real bravery. They spent the next few hours talking, Junho sharing stories about growing up as the spare, always in Saiwoo's shadow. Maya found herself relaxing, enjoying his easy company. You're good for him, Junho said as the sun began to set. I haven't seen him this alive in years. So whatever happens, thank you for that. Saiwoo returned just after 7, and Maya saw immediately that something had shifted. He looked tired but satisfied, like he'd accomplished something important. It's handled, he said without preamble. The Choi family understands that you're off limits. They've agreed to leave you alone. Just like that. I was very persuasive. He pulled off his jacket and Maya saw bruised knuckles. They won't be a problem anymore. Junho stood. That's my cue to leave. Try not to do anything I wouldn't do. He winked at Maya on his way out. Once they were alone, Maya crossed to Saiwoo and took his hands, examining the damage. You got in a fight? A small disagreement about respect and boundaries. He let her turn his hands over, inspecting his knuckles. Nothing I couldn't handle. You could have been seriously hurt. But I wasn't. I'm here, safe, and the threat is neutralized. He pulled her closer. That's all that matters. Maya looked up at him. This man who'd fought for her, who'd put himself in danger to keep her safe. Thank you. You don't need to thank me for protecting what's mine. The possessive declaration should have bothered her. Instead, it sent heat through her veins. Yours. If you'll have me. I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out. His hands framed her face. But I need you to know that I'm all in, Maya. Completely committed to this. To us. Her heart hammered. Even though I'm complicated and foreign and don't fit into your world. Especially because of that. You make me want to build a different world. One where I can be more than what I was raised to be. His eyes held hers. So yes, mine. If you'll let me be yours. Maya knew she should think about this more, should take time to consider all the implications. But standing there looking into his eyes, feeling the way he touched her like she was precious, she couldn't find any more reasons to hold back. Okay, I'm yours. She rose on her toes. And you're mine. He kissed her then, deep and claiming. Maya melted into him, her hands fisting in his shirt. This was different from their first kiss in the garden, that had been tentative testing. This was certainty, promise, possession. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Saiwoo rested his forehead against hers. Stay with me tonight. Not in the guest room. In my bed. Just sleeping if that's what you want. But I need you close. Need to know you're safe. Maya thought about all the reasons she should maintain some boundaries, some distance. Then she thought about how empty the guest room had felt last night before he joined her. Okay, but I'm stealing all the blankets. His laugh was surprised and genuine. Deal. They ordered dinner. Something easy and delicious from Saiwoo's favorite restaurant. They ate while watching a drama on television, arguing good-naturedly about the characters' choices. It was so normal, so domestic, that Maya almost forgot about the danger and complications. Almost. Later, in Saiwoo's bedroom, Maya felt her nerves return. This was different from falling asleep together last night. This felt more deliberate, more intimate. I can sleep on the couch if you're uncomfortable, Saiwoo offered, reading her expression. No, I want this. I'm just nervous. She climbed into bed, acutely aware of him moving around the room, getting ready. It's been a while since I shared a bed with anyone. Same. He slid in beside her, keeping careful distance. We don't have to do anything. I meant what I said. I just want you close. Maya shifted closer, resting her head on his chest. His arm came around her automatically, and she felt some of her tension ease. Can I ask you something? Anything. Are you really okay with taking this slow? I know you said you're all in, but physically I need time. Everything is happening so fast. His hand stroked her back in soothing circles. I'm okay with whatever pace you need. Yes, I want you, but I also want you comfortable and certain. There's no rush. Even though you're used to getting what you want immediately, especially because of that. You're not a business deal or a territory acquisition. You're a person I care about. He pressed a kiss to her hair. You're worth waiting for. Maya felt something in her chest expand. You're pretty amazing, you know that? I'm really not. But I'm trying to be. For you. They fell asleep tangled together. And for the first time in days, Maya felt truly safe. The next week fell into a rhythm. Maya continued staying at the penthouse, though she ventured out during the day with security. She visited her clinic, met with colleagues, tried to maintain some semblance of normal life. Saiwoo arranged for another therapist to take over his treatment. A quiet, professional woman who came to the penthouse 3 times a week. It was strange watching someone else work with him, but Maya knew it was necessary. They spent evenings together, cooking or ordering in, talking about everything and nothing. Saiwoo told her about his business, both legitimate and otherwise. Maya shared more about her family, her dreams, her fears. I want you to meet someone, Saiwoo said one evening over dinner. A doctor in California. She specializes in nerve regeneration cases like mine. You're considering more treatment? I want to explore all options. He set down his chopsticks. Not because I think I need to be fixed for you. You've made it clear that doesn't matter. But because I want every possibility for our future. Our future, Maya repeated softly. Unless you don't see this lasting that long? I don't know what I see. Everything is still so new. She reached across the table. But I want there to be a future. I want to see where this goes. That's enough for now. They flew to Los Angeles 2 weeks later. Dr. Patricia Lawson was based in Beverly Hills. Her office was state-of-the-art, her credentials impressive. She examined Saiwoo thoroughly, reviewed all his medical history, ran new tests. Finally, she sat them down in her office. The good news is you've made remarkable progress. Your current therapist and Ms. Bennett's earlier work have helped significantly. She pulled up imaging on her computer. The nerve damage isn't as extensive as your previous doctors believed. With the right surgical intervention, I'm confident we can restore full function. Saiwoo's hand found Maya's, squeezed tight. What's the procedure? Dr. Lawson explained in detail, a complex surgery that would take 6 to 8 hours, followed by months of rehabilitation. Success rate was high, around 80%, but there were always risks. I need to think about it, Saiwoo said. Of course, take your time, but know that the window for this type of intervention is limited. Another year or 2 and the damage might become permanent. They left the office in silence, walking through Los Angeles without a real destination. Finally, in a park overlooking the ocean, they found a bench. What are you thinking? Maya asked. That I want the surgery. That I want to be completely whole. He turned to look at her. For you. for us. But I'm also terrified it won't work, that I'll go through all of this and still be broken. You're not broken, Saiwoo. You never were. But I could be better. I want to be better. Maya thought about what this meant. Months of recovery, of being dependent again, of vulnerability. If you want the surgery, I'll support you. But do it for yourself, not for me. What if I'm doing it for both of us? Is that allowed? She smiled. Yeah, that's allowed. They stayed in Los Angeles for 3 more days, playing tourist. Saiwoo was different here, away from New York and his responsibilities. More relaxed, quicker to smile. Maya caught glimpses of who he might have been without the weight of his world on his shoulders. On their last night, they had dinner at a rooftop restaurant with views of the city skyline. Saiwoo was quieter than usual, clearly thinking about something. I could leave it all, he said suddenly. The business, the territory, all of it. We could stay here, start over. I have enough legitimate investments to support us. Maya set down her wine. Are you serious? I don't know. Maybe. He leaned back. Being here with you, being anonymous. It's the most peace I've felt in years. Part of me wants to never go back. But it's not that simple. I have responsibilities, people who depend on me. His eyes met hers. And I'm not sure I know how to be anyone other than who I am. Could you love me if I wasn't powerful? If I was just another businessman in a city full of them? I already love you. The words slipped out before Maya could stop them. Saiwoo went completely still. Say that again. I love you. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. I didn't mean for it to happen this fast, and I definitely didn't plan to tell you like this. But I do. I love you. He was around the table in seconds, pulling her to her feet, kissing her like she was air and he'd been drowning. When he finally pulled back, his eyes were bright. I love you too. God, I love you so much. They left the restaurant early, barely making it back to their hotel room before they were kissing again, desperate and hungry. Maya pulled at Saiwoo's shirt while he worked the zipper of her dress. Are you sure? He asked against her neck. I'm sure. I want this. I want you. They tumbled into bed together, learning each other with hands and mouths. Saiwoo touched her like she was precious, like he was memorizing every curve and sound. Maya explored the planes of his body, the scars from his accident, the strength in his muscles. When he finally pushed inside her, moving with careful control, she felt complete in a way she hadn't known was possible. I can feel everything, he whispered, wonder in his voice. Every sensation, every touch. You did this. You gave this back to me. We did it together. Maya pulled him closer, matching his rhythm. We healed together. After, they lay tangled in hotel sheets, hearts still racing. Saiwoo traced patterns on her shoulder, his touch soft in the darkness. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For not giving up on me. For seeing past what I thought I was to who I could be. His arm tightened around her. For loving me. Thank you for letting me in. For trusting me enough to be vulnerable. They fell asleep wrapped around each other, and Maya felt something settle in her chest. Certainty, maybe, or just peace. They returned to New York a week later. The penthouse felt different now, less like a safe house and more like home. But reality reasserted itself quickly. Saiwoo had meetings, business to handle, territory disputes to mediate. Maya returned to her clinic work, though she still stayed at the penthouse most nights. One afternoon, she was seeing a patient when the clinic receptionist knocked urgently. Miss Bennett, there's someone here to see you. She says it's important. Maya finished her session and went to the waiting room. A young Korean woman sat there. Expensive clothes, perfect makeup, but her eyes were red from crying. Miss Bennett, I'm Lee Yuna. We met briefly at the Han family dinner. Maya's defenses went up immediately. What can I do for you? I need to apologize. And warn you. Yuna's voice was shaky. My family, they're not happy about Saiwoo choosing you. They're planning something. Planning what? I don't know exactly. But I heard my father on the phone talking about removing obstacles. About teaching lessons. She looked up, fear clear in her eyes. Please, you need to be careful. My family doesn't accept rejection well. Maya's blood ran cold. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm not my family. And because even though I wanted Saiwoo for myself, I can see he's happy with you. He deserves happiness after everything he's been through. Yuna stood. Just watch your back. The Lee family has reach. She left before Maya could ask more questions. Maya immediately called Saiwoo. His voice was tense when he answered. I'm in a meeting. Is everything okay? No. I just got a visit from Lee Yuna. She said her family is planning something. The silence on the other end was heavy. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Don't leave the clinic. He arrived in 15, Daehoon and 2 other security guards in tow. Saiwoo's expression was thunderous. Tell me exactly what she said. Maya recounted the conversation. Saiwoo's jaw got tighter with every word. The Lee family is making a mistake. A big one. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling an emergency meeting. Every family, every faction. This ends now. Saiwoo, maybe we should. No. No more half measures. No more warnings. His eyes met hers, and she saw cold fury there. They threatened you. That's a line nobody crosses. The meeting was set for that evening at a neutral location. Saiwoo wanted Maya to stay at the penthouse, but she refused. This is about me. I should be there. It's too dangerous. Then make it safe. But I'm not hiding while you fight my battles. She crossed her arms. We're partners, remember? Equal partners. That means I get a say. He looked like he wanted to argue. Then his expression softened slightly. Fine. But you stay by my side the entire time. And if things get violent, you leave immediately. No arguments. Deal. The meeting location was a private room in one of Saiwoo's hotels. When they arrived, the space was already filling with dangerous-looking men in expensive suits. Maya recognized some faces from the family dinner, but many were new. Myri was there, elegant and composed. She nodded approvingly when she saw Maya. Good. You didn't hide. That shows strength. The Lee family patriarch arrived last, flanked by his son and several guards. He was in his 60s, silver-haired and distinguished, with eyes that missed nothing. Han Saiwoo, you called this meeting. Speak. Saiwoo stood, and the room fell silent. I called this meeting because the Lee family has overstepped. They've threatened someone under my protection, someone I love. And that cannot stand. Your woman is not our concern, the patriarch said dismissively. She is now. I'm making her everyone's concern. Saiwoo's voice was hard. Maya Bennett is to be treated as family. My family. Any threat against her is a threat against the Han organization. Any harm that comes to her will be answered with total war. Murmurs rippled through the room. You would risk everything for a foreigner? The patriarch's voice dripped disdain. I would burn New York to the ground for her. Saiwoo's hand found Maya's. So yes, I'm making it clear right now in front of everyone. She's off limits. Untouchable. And anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me directly. The room fell silent. Maya felt dozens of eyes on her, assessing, calculating. She lifted her chin and met their gazes steadily. Finally, Myri spoke. The Han family stands behind my son's declaration. Maya Bennett is under our protection. Anyone who threatens her answers to us. One by one, other families voiced their agreement. It was political theater, Maya realized. They weren't agreeing because they liked her or approved of the relationship. They were agreeing because going against the Han family was bad for business. The Lee patriarch was the last to speak. The Lee family has no interest in your woman, but we expect the same courtesy. Our business dealings remain our own. Agreed. As long as those business dealings don't involve threatening what's mine. Tension stretched. Then the patriarch nodded once, sharply. The meeting dissolved after that, people leaving in clusters. Maya felt like she could finally breathe again. Is it over? She asked Saiwoo quietly. For now. We've established boundaries. Made allegiances clear. He pulled her close. You're safe. That's what matters. Myri approached before they could leave. Walk with me, dear. It wasn't really a request. Maya followed Saiwoo's mother to a quiet corner. You handled yourself well tonight. Many women would have cowered under that scrutiny. I was terrified, but you didn't show it. That's what counts. Myri's expression softened. My son loves you. I've never seen him like this with anyone. So I need to know. Do you love him enough to handle what comes with him? Yes. Maya didn't hesitate. I love him. All of him, including the parts that scare me. Good. Because this life, it's not easy. There will always be threats, always be people trying to use you against him. You'll need to be strong. I can be strong. I believe you can. Myri took her hand. Welcome to the family, Maya. Officially. That night, back at the penthouse, Saiwoo was quieter than usual. Maya found him standing at the windows, staring out at the city. Hey, you okay? I put a target on your back tonight. Made you visible to everyone in my world. His voice was heavy. I keep thinking maybe I should let you go. Let you be safe. Stop. Maya moved to stand beside him. You don't get to make that choice for me. I chose this. I chose you. Yes, it's dangerous and complicated. But it's also real and worth fighting for. You deserve better than this life. I deserve to make my own choices. And I choose you. She took his hand. Every day, I choose you. He pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. I don't deserve you. Good thing I don't care about what you deserve. I care about what I want. She pulled back to look at him. And I want you. Forever if you'll have me. Forever, he repeated. And something in his voice made her heart skip. Is that a promise? It's a promise. He kissed her then, deep and claiming. And Maya felt complete. This man, this dangerous, complicated, beautiful man was hers. And she was his. Whatever came next, they would face it together. 3 months later, Maya stood in the therapy room of Saiwoo's penthouse, watching him work through his post-surgical exercises with his new therapist. The operation had been a success. Better than anyone had hoped. Dr. Lawson had called it a textbook recovery. But the real transformation wasn't physical. It was the way Saiwoo smiled more now, laughed easier. The way he'd slowly begun transferring more of his business operations to legitimate ventures, stepping back from the darker aspects of his world. How's he doing? Maya asked Dr. Chun, the therapist. Remarkably well. Full sensation restored. Strength at 95%. Another month and he'll be cleared for normal activities. Dr. Chun smiled. Whatever you did before the surgery prepared his body perfectly. The neurological pathways were already beginning to regenerate. After the session, Saiwoo found Maya on the terrace, looking out over the city. Thinking about Seattle? He asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. Actually, I was thinking about how much has changed in 6 months. Regrets. Not one. She turned in his arms. Well, maybe one. I wish I'd kissed you that first day instead of waiting 3 weeks. He laughed. I would have fired you on the spot for unprofessional conduct. And then hired me back the next day because you can't resist me. True. He kissed her nose. I have something for you. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Maya's heart stopped. Before you panic, it's not what you think. Well, not exactly. He opened the box to reveal a key. I want you to move in. Officially. Not as my girlfriend staying over, but as someone who lives here. With me. Because this is your home too. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. Saiwoo. I know it's fast. I know we said one day at a time. But Maya, every day I wake up wanting you here. Every night I fall asleep grateful you stayed. His hand cupped her face. I'm not asking you to marry me. Not yet. I want to earn that, want to prove I can be the man you deserve. But I'm asking you to build a life with me. Here. In this imperfect, complicated, sometimes dangerous world we've created together. Yes. The word came out choked with emotion. Yes, I'll move in. Yes to building a life together. Yes to all of it. He kissed her then, soft and sweet and full of promise. I love you, Maya Bennett. I love you too, Han Saiwoo. From inside, they heard Junho's voice. Are you two having a moment? Because Mom's on her way up and she's bringing wedding magazines. Saiwoo groaned. I'm going to kill my brother. Maya laughed. Let her come. We can handle your mother. We can handle anything, Saiwoo corrected, pulling her close. As long as we're together. And standing there on the terrace, the city sprawling below them, Maya knew it was true. They'd faced threats and danger, navigated complicated families and ethical dilemmas. They'd healed each other in ways that went far beyond the physical. Whatever came next, Myri's wedding planning, the ongoing challenges of Saiwoo's world, the everyday complications of building a life together, they would face it as partners, as equals, as two people who'd found something rare and precious and worth fighting for. Come on, Maya said, taking his hand. Let's go deal with your mother and her wedding magazines. Because knowing Myri, she's already planned our entire wedding. Probably, Saiwoo admitted. She's had 3 years to think about it. 3 years. She told me after the accident that someday someone would come along and make me want to live again. She's been planning for that day ever since. Maya's heart swelled. Your mother is pretty amazing. She likes you. Says you have fire and backbone. That you're exactly what I need. He kissed her hand. She's not wrong. They went inside together, ready to face whatever came next. Because that's what love was. Not the absence of challenges, but the commitment to face them together. And as Myri swept into the penthouse with an armful of magazines and a gleam in her eye, Maya knew with absolute certainty that she'd made the right choice. She'd chosen love over fear, connection over safety, the messy, complicated reality of Saiwoo over the pristine simplicity of her old life. And she'd do it again in a heartbeat. 6 months later, the medical conference in Boston was Maya's idea. She'd been invited to present a paper on nerve regeneration therapy, and Saiwoo had insisted on coming with her. For protection, he'd said, but Maya knew better. He just wanted to be with her. They were walking through the hotel lobby after her presentation when Maya saw a familiar face. Dr. Rodriguez? The woman was in her 50s, elegant with kind eyes. I thought that was you. I'm Dr. Sarah Martinez. I was your father's physical therapist. Maya's heart swelled. Dr. Martinez. Oh my God. I've wanted to thank you for years. You changed my life. Watching you work with my dad, that's why I became a therapist. Your father told me. Dr. Martinez smiled. He was so proud when you graduated. How is he? Good. Really good. Still walking. Still stubborn as ever. They talked for a few minutes, Maya introducing Saiwoo, explaining how they'd met. Dr. Martinez listened with the knowing smile of someone who'd seen this story before. "Sometimes the people we help end up healing us too," she said to Maya. "That's the real magic of this work." After she left, Saiwoo pulled Maya close. "She's right, you know. You healed me, in every way that matters." "We healed each other," Maya corrected. That night, in their hotel room, Saiwoo got down on one knee. Maya's hands flew to her mouth. "What are you doing?" "Something I should have done months ago." He pulled out a ring, simple, elegant, perfect. "Maya Bennett, you walked into my life when I'd given up on everything. You refused to let me stay broken. You loved me when I didn't know how to love myself. You chose me every day, even when it was dangerous and complicated and made no sense." His voice cracked slightly. "I'm not perfect. My world isn't perfect. But I promise to spend every day trying to be worthy of you. To build a life where you're safe and happy and free to be exactly who you are. So I'm asking, will you marry me? Will you be my partner, my love, my home?" Maya was crying now, happy tears streaming down her face. "Yes, God, yes. 1,000 times yes." He slid the ring on her finger, then stood and kissed her. And in that moment, Maya knew with absolute certainty that every risk had been worth it. Every fear she'd faced, every boundary she'd crossed, every moment of doubt. All of it had led her here, to this man, to this love. "I can't wait to marry you," Saiwoo whispered against her lips. "Your mother is going to lose her mind with excitement. She already knows. I asked her for her blessing last week." Maya pulled back. "You did? Of course. She's important to me. You're important to me. I wanted her support." He grinned. She cried and then immediately started calling venues. "So we're really doing this? Getting married? Building a life together? We're really doing this?" He cupped her face. "You and me against the world. Just like it's always been. Just like it'll always be," Maya agreed. And as they held each other, the city lights twinkling beyond their window, Maya sent a silent thank you to the universe for bringing her to New York, for giving her that first difficult patient, for teaching her that sometimes the greatest healing comes from taking the biggest risks. She'd come to New York to build a career. Instead, she'd found a home, a family, and a love that would last a lifetime. And really, that was the greatest success story of all. If this story moved you even a little, let me know in the comments what moments stayed with you the most. Like the video if you felt their journey, and share it with someone who believes love can heal what life tried to break. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.